Hey guys, Brant from In My Head channel here, and I know I just put a video out yesterday, but I wanted to come back with this one because, I was talking about kiss things, and I saw a couple real interesting articles I mentioned yesterday in the video that I put out, talking about how Ace is doing weddings, a couple weddings, or a couple days in Kiss Vegas at the golf course there, the mini golf course in Vegas. He's going to be doing He'll Be Your Best Man or Walk Your Bride Up the Aisle for, $6,000. And also, there's been a lot of rumors if Kiss is going to be touring, but what capacity is that going to be in? And I saw an interesting article on blabbermouth.net. I'll put the links down in the comments or down in the description. But I wanted to talk about this one right here first. I was getting on Blabbermouth to look up the Ace Frehley article, and I found this one right here. So check this out. It says here, Paul Stanley on his vocal issues. If you want to hear me sound like I did on Kiss Alive, then put on Kiss Alive. And it says that he spoke to Rolling Stone podcast, talking to the fans about the tour. And he said, let's put it into perspective and try to get a sense of what's different. The farewell took place 19 years ago. The farewell tour was the end of the time we brought back 2 original members. And it was such drudgery and so difficult and happy that it seemed like, let's put this horse down. The tour was over. It didn't take me very long to realize I didn't want to say goodbye to the band. I wanted to say goodbye to the 2 members. Now that is very typical Paul. I love you, Paul. And Kiss Sheep that worship Paul, don't get mad at me, but that is very typical Paul. It doesn't surprise me to hear Paul say something like that at all. Like I said, I've read his book and I identify with him in a lot of ways, but that is very typical. That is a very typical Paul statement. So let's go back here to this. We had 19 years of the band never been happier. With all that in mind, I think it's time to end. And then at the bottom, he talks about we can't rule out the possibility of former members as guests. He doesn't promise anything. I can't really say. This will be a celebration of Kiss and not individual lineup or individual members. I would not rule anything out. And then down at the bottom, he says, Stanley also responds to the swipe Simmons took at him on stage in Australia last month. I'll sing everything, Simmons says, because my voice always works. I didn't lose my voice. I don't lose my voice. Look, Stanley said, Gene and I have been together, I think, 47 years. He's having a great time. He's doing them. Most of them are free concerts. And when he charges tickets, they don't sell a lot of tickets. I'm speechless. I mean, I don't see how Gene has put up with this guy as many years as he has. I mean, he has to push everybody else down. Even his bandmate of 47 years, he's got to push everybody else down to make his fragile ego feel better about himself. I mean, like I said, I love Paul as a songwriter, and when he was in his prime, he was the best singer in Kiss. But even Ace's voice, in some of his live shows is hit or miss. On the albums, he sounds great. But even in live shows, Ace's voice is hit or miss. To me, the best singer live right now in Kiss is Gene Simmons. That's my opinion. But that is just such hypocritical to say that. Look back here at the article. When he charges tickets, they don't sell a lot of tickets. I'm sure he's trying to keep it light for a couple hundred people or whatever. That's great. I mean, and then he says here, down here at the bottom, he says, this is becoming tougher for you. I've heard a lot recently make a voice that my voice is great in great form. But if you want to hear me sound like I did on Kiss Alive, then put on Kiss Alive. That almost sounds like to me that he is acknowledging that he is not as good a singer as he used to be. Like I said, when I hear Paul now, when he's not sounding horrible, he sounds strained. Like he's, he sounds like an old man trying to sing, because he is an old man trying to sing. He's just done a lot of gymnastics and a lot of vocal gymnastics with his voice over the years. And, the long stints on Broadway and his solo. And he's just, in my opinion, in a lot of stuff he's done a lot more talking, a lot more singing than any other band members in Kiss. So his voice is not as good as it used to be. So take that for what you want to think about it. I don't care, but I tell you, that is a pretty shitty thing that he said there. A few things in there he said is pretty shitty about wanting to, like I said, it just blows my mind. So let's look at this Ace article here. So here's this article. It's on Blabbermouth also. Like I said, I'll post these links below. And, Ace looks good in that photo, but he don't always look that good in some of the tour shots you see him. He looks a little bloated in the face and everything, but he looks really good. I mean, and I really respect Ace for how his solo career is going. I saw somebody in one of the forums that I'm in on Facebook, and they were talking about that Ace in this article says his career is on the upswing. And they're like, how is your career on the upswing if you're performing weddings in Vegas? Well, first thing, asshat, he's not performing the weddings. He is either being the best man or walking the bride down the aisle. He's not even performing at the weddings. He's not, and he is not, whatever they call it, officiating the wedding. He's just there. $6,000 for a little bit of work. I don't know how much of that Ace is getting. I'm sure Gene and Paul's getting their piece of it. This is a collaboration, so that's what made this article much more interesting, because if you look here, it says Ace Frehley says he would take part in the Kiss End of the Road tour, but he hasn't been asked. And then it goes on to say that he's hoping that he'll be involved in some capacity. I haven't been asked, he said during a live conversation at Hollywood's Musicians Institute September 25th. I had a meeting with those guys several months ago, and they talked about retiring to me, and it didn't seem right. Who knows what's going to happen? I read comments on the internet. I fall off my bed laughing. All these people have all these different ideas of a configuration of what the next Kiss tour should be, and it's crazy. But overwhelmingly, they want me back in the band, and I think that's what I'm reading on the internet. And Frehley goes on to say, I'm doing fine on my own. My career is on the upswing. I'm having a ton of fun. I'm producing my own records. I don't like anybody standing on my shoulder and telling me what to do. Paul. I've had a lot of freedom working with Paul and Gene. Again, would be different, but then I'd probably make 5 or 10 million, so I might consider that. And I love that, if I can make some money, here's the thing you have to remember about Ace. Peter was fired from Kiss. He was fired from Kiss the first time because of drug addictions. And he was released from Kiss the second time after Symphony. But Ace was never fired from Kiss. Ace quit. He quit every time he's been in Kiss. He quit in the 70s or early 80s. He quit because, one, I think Gene and Paul were screwing him over and he knew it. I read in Paul's book or in Gene's book, I can't remember, how Ace was actually counting the tickets. And I can't blame him to do that, because Gene and Paul were making money hand over fist. And Ace and Peter were not officially brought back into as members of the band. They were hired, kind of like Tommy and Eric are now. They are hired. And so if I'm somebody and I'm hired and part of my salary is commission, where I'm getting paid based on not only my performance, but how many people are coming in to see my performance. And I don't know if that's how it's structured. If they were getting a flat rate, I'd heard that it was flat rate. I heard that they got 20 million. So if you're getting a flat rate, why would you care how much money you were getting? But I read in books that Ace got on their nerves because he was coming to them and talking about, well, it says here that we only got the money for this much, and we've actually sold this much. So he would question them. And Paul and Gene, they put their they became the official, non-official leaders of KISS very early, even when Peter and Ace were still in the band. So I can understand Ace's, wanting to be. I mean, Ace has got it good right now. And here's the thing: Ace has the most successful solo career of any member of KISS. Paul and Gene and Peter have all tried to do solo careers and they can't sustain. But who is the guy that is getting ready to put an album out next month? And he has put albums out continuously since the early 80s when he left KISS. Who is that guy? What's his name? It's this guy right here. Let's go back to this article. He says, I'm doing fine on my own. Take the money. Hopefully next year what the KISS fans really want to happen will happen. I'm hoping. And I want to be involved, especially for the fans. It's not my dream job because I've done it a couple times and quit. But I really want to do it for the fans if it's going to happen. And then he said, and then it goes back to the article. Stanley said that he can't really rule out, but it'll be a celebration. And but the majority of the time has gone into selecting what the stage is going to be, what the show is going to be, and we're just now toying around with the idea of set list. And here's where it talks about Ace's. Here's where it talks about Ace's album. Ace's new album, Spaceman, which I'm really looking forward to, will be released on October 19th. He left KISS. He rejoined in 1982, and he rejoined in 1996, and he's since parted ways after the conclusion of the farewell tour. Ace was done. He knew his job was over, and he was done, so he got out. So once again, some very interesting. I like this. I like being in the middle of all this stuff that's going on because it's a very exciting time in KISS history. Could be the last hurrah. Could be just another way to make money. There's a lot of theories going around about what it's going to be, or not theories, speculations. And there's one that is going around that I really like. I think it would be awesome if they put on this show and that they had the different eras of KISS, of living members. So, of course we don't have Mark St. John with us anymore, and we don't have Eric with us anymore. But we still do have Peter, we still do have Ace, we still have Bruce, and of course we got Tommy and Eric, And so what they do is they have a set list, and they go through phases of the band. They start off, and the set list it's almost like a Kissology in one night. It's like Kissology. You start off with the 4 original members, and then Peter leaves, of course, and I don't think they'd bring Vinny back. I mean, I don't know, but Vinny's still alive. But Vinny's kind of like that weird uncle that you think he's funny, but you don't really like hanging out with him. That's kind of like what Vinny is. And so, but they could bring Vinny back, and then they would have, where there's Peter. Well, no, Peter left early. So you'd leave Peter out, and then Ace would be there for a little while, and they could bring in, I don't know, at that point in time, they may have to bring in Eric Singer at that point in time. And so there'd be that period, or maybe whenever Peter leaves, Ace actually leaves too. And because nobody was really around except for Vinny during the I Love It Loud, during Creatures and Lick It Up. But Creatures and Lick It Up could very well be done by Eric and Bruce. And so then you have Eric and Bruce through the Eric and Bruce eras all the way up through Revenge and Carnival of Souls. And then you have, then maybe you could have, I don't know if you bring Ace and Peter back to do the Psycho Circus stuff, and then bring the Scabs back out with, and bring Thayer and Eric out in the KISS makeup. I don't know. Like I said, that just seems like a big production. And if you think about it, if you cart that around for 300 dates, that's a lot of logistics. That's a lot of, you have to put up with these guys. And so, I think what we may end up getting is we may end up getting a Guns N' Roses type thing where you might have Bruce Kulick pop up at some dates. You might have, other than Bruce, the only people is other than Bruce is and Vinny. You might have Vinny pop up for some stuff because he did do some stuff with Gene on his vault before he started doing crazy shit again. But you could have and maybe Eric show up, like kind of like Steven Adler, not Eric, but maybe Peter show up for a date or two, like Steven Adler did. So he's not committed to playing show after show after show, and then maybe Ace could open. That'd be awesome if they let Ace open, and then they let Vinny open for Ace. So you'd have Vinny, Vincent, and then Ace, and then Kiss. You know. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Like I said, just wanted to make a short video here about these two articles. Like I said, I'll put the links to the articles down in the description. And I hope you guys like what you've been seeing lately. Like I said, I'm trying to get back into making the videos. And so just we have more videos coming up of more Kiss album reviews coming up. Got some Typo Negative stuff coming up. Got some paranormal stuff coming up in the next few weeks, the next month or so. Next couple months. So, having said that, I'm Brent. This is In My Head channel, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.